The biggest news of the day, Liz Truss, the British Prime Minister, resigned.
That I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party.
The British Prime Minister Liz Truss had a job for 44 days, failed and quit. My name is Vitaly. I am an economist, and in this channel I discuss economics news of the day. How can economics explain the failure, the disaster of Liz Truss? You already heard the news that Liz Truss resigned after the short 44 days in office. And now we'll be getting 129,000 US dollars for the rest of her life. Because Great Britain is so kind to failed prime ministers, and the media tells you that she had to quit because she was incompetent and the economy was in chaos, blah blah blah. But what really happened? Liz Truss resigned not because she was incompetent. She was, but every other politician is incompetent. It was the markets, the financial markets, who forced Liz Truss to resign. Let's see how it happened. When Liz Truss took office, she announced that she would boost government spending and cut taxes. And in that respect, she was exactly like every other politician. She was exactly like Boris Johnson, Justin Trudeau, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, because she wanted to do the exact same thing they did and they do. Because every politician loves boosting spending and cutting taxes. Because every politician loves spending someone else's money. So what happened? Why are other politicians allowed to spend like crazy, but she wasn't? And the answer is, of course, economics. Britain runs a budget deficit which is the highest in 30 years. Its public debt is the highest in 60 years. Its trade deficit is the worst ever. Inflation is sky high, and the British national currency, pound, is at all-time low. So these are the economic problems of the used-to-be Great Britain. Liz Truss said that she would cut taxes and boost spending, ignoring economic problems, pretending they don't exist. And that was the moment when markets said enough. So investors started selling government bonds, bonds of the British government. And bonds of the British government used to be one of the safest securities in the world. But this time they became toxic. As investors were dumping British bonds, bond prices fell and the bond market collapsed. And that forced the central bank, the Bank of England, to start buying government bonds, to keep the bond markets alive, to prevent the collapse of the entire economy. And that worked. The Bank of England saved the markets, but it came at a cost. Yes, the Bank of England saved the markets, but it killed its own reputation. And the reason is this. Before September, the Bank of England was selling government bonds because it was trying to reduce inflation. But in September, because of the government policies, the central bank was forced to start buying bonds, triggering an already high inflation. And that was it. The government and the Bank of England lost their reputation. They lost people's trust. And that was the fatal blow to the markets. After that, it was just a matter of time when Liz Truss would have to go.
I am a fighter and not a quitter. That I am resigning.
Moral of the story is this. If you want to become a politician, learn economics. One day it will save you a job. Now let's take a look again at economic problems of the used-to-be Great Britain. Are they any different from economic problems of the European Union? Are they any different from economic problems of the United States? These economic problems, plus dysfunction, plus incompetence and political chaos, that's the United States. Economically speaking, The United States is like Britain times 10. Joe Biden just announced an all-time high budget deficit. Just like Britain, the United States has all-time high public debt, plus trade deficit, plus inflation, the highest in 40 years. Just like Britain, the United States can't print money forever. It can't increase budget deficits every single year. Sooner or later, investors will say enough is enough. Sooner or later, investors will stop buying government bonds. And when it happens, the US government will do nothing to stop it. It will fail to do anything about it. Why? The answer is in my next video.